The expedition of Hernán Cortés, which began in 1519, is a seminal event in the history of the Americas, marking the clash between the Old World and the New, and leading to the eventual downfall of the Aztec Empire. This expedition is not just a tale of conquest, but also a complex narrative of alliances, betrayals, and cultural exchanges that would shape the course of history. Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador born in 1485 in Medellín, Spain, was initially not the first choice for the expedition to the mainland of Mexico. However, through a combination of ambition, legal maneuvering, and sheer audacity, Cortés secured the command of the expedition. In February 1519, Cortés set sail from Cuba with about 600 men, 11 ships, and a number of horses and cannons, defying the governor of Cuba, Diego Velázquez, who had revoked his charter. Upon landing on the Yucatan Peninsula, Cortés made it a point to establish alliances with various indigenous groups. This strategy was instrumental in his success, as these alliances provided him with vital information, additional forces, and leverage against the Aztecs. One of the most significant alliances was with the Tlaxcalans, a fierce enemy of the Aztecs, who would become invaluable allies to the Spanish. Cortés's approach to the Aztec Empire was marked by a combination of diplomacy and force. His first encounter with Aztec emissaries showcased his intent to engage with Moctezuma II, the Aztec emperor, through a display of Spanish firepower and an invitation to embrace Christianity. Despite these overtures, Cortés's march towards Tenochtitlán, the Aztec capital, was fraught with resistance and battles, underscoring the Aztecs' reluctance to accept Spanish dominion. The entry of Cortés and his men into Tenochtitlán in November 1519 was a strategic triumph, facilitated by the awe and curiosity of Moctezuma towards these foreign visitors. However, the initially peaceful coexistence was short-lived. The situation escalated when Cortés was compelled to leave the city to deal with a Spanish force sent from Cuba to arrest him for insubordination. In his absence, violence erupted between the Spaniards left behind and the Aztecs during a religious festival, leading to an uprising. Cortés's return to Tenochtitlan and the subsequent capture of Moctezuma did not quell the unrest. The situation reached a tipping point with the death of Moctezuma and the night known as La Noche Triste, the Sad Night, where the Spaniards and their indigenous allies suffered heavy losses while fleeing the city. The eventual siege and fall of Tenochtitlan in August 1521, after months of fierce fighting and a blockade that devastated the Aztec population, marked the culmination of Cortés' expedition. The conquest of the Aztec Empire by a relatively small Spanish force, augmented by thousands of indigenous allies, was not merely a military victory but also a psychological one, leveraging European military technology, such as firearms and steel armor, and exploiting divisions within the indigenous societies. The aftermath of the conquest saw the establishment of New Spain, with Cortés as its governor, and the beginning of Spanish colonization in the Americas. This period was marked by significant cultural, biological, and economic exchanges, but also by the tragic impact of disease, exploitation, and the imposition of a new social order on the indigenous populations. In reflecting on Cortés's expedition, it is essential to recognize its complexity and the profound consequences it had on the course of world history. It was an event that led to the fusion of worlds, the repercussions of which are still felt today in the cultural, linguistic, and demographic landscapes of the Americas.